Week 8 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few defense DST units I have as sleepers this week. The first one, the New York Giants. So the Giants here, we know they're having a great season, 6-1 on the year, and it's on defense and Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones making plays when they need them to get to this record. So this week here, not the greatest of matchups in Seattle, but DK Metcalf looks like he's going to be out in this one, so that's always a plus for a defense, not to have to deal with a DK Metcalf. And this Giant team, they've been making plays when they need them. So the last few weeks here, Week 5 at Green Bay, 20 points allowed, 2 sacks in that one. Week 6 versus the Baltimore Ravens, 20 points allowed, 2 sacks in it though, a fumble recovery. And Week 7 at Jacksonville, 17 points allowed, a fumble recovery and a block kick. So on this one, I think, once again, we're going to see more of the same mid-teens, low 20s here for the Giants, and it's just about them trying to get some turnovers, and I think they can in this game on Geno. I know Geno's been one of the better quarterbacks and surprise guys this season here in fantasy football, but now without DK Metcalf, we're going to see how he adapts, and this Giant team's playing good, no doubt about it, so I think they could be a decent option as a sleeper this week, and they're available in 90% of fantasy weeks. The next defense is the Washington Commanders, so the Commanders, decent matchup this week here for the Indianapolis Colts with the youngster second-year guy Sam Ellinger getting his first career NFL start. So right here, the Colts do give up the second most fantasy points to defenses on the season. And last week, we saw the Titans have a great outing with a pick six, and they got to Matt Ryan a lot. But right here with Ellinger at quarterback, I think they're going to try to get the ball out of his hands quicker. Obviously, he's going to be more mobile of a quarterback than Matt Ryan at this point of his career here, but Washington available in 91% of fantasy leagues. In the last few weeks here for them, not the greatest of games, but this week here with a good matchup and the youngster at quarterback, I think they can make plays. Week 6 at Chicago, 7 points allowed, 5 sacks and into a fumble recovery. In Week 7 versus Green Bay, 15 points allowed and a fumble recovery. So right here, mid-teens, low 20s, I think, a few turnovers, a few sacks, because this offensive line, besides Quentin Nelson, has been a train wreck here for this Colt team. So right now, I think the Commanders can make a few plays, and this ball game could be a game of the defenses as well. So I have them as a sleeper this week. In the third and final defense DST unit, I have as a sleeper this week the Carolina Panthers. So last week, Panthers went out there and they held this Tampa Bay Buck offense to 3 points. I know this Buck offense hasn't been clicking and in sync this season, but still to hold them to 3 points is still a great thing in my opinion. So right now they got a good matchup this week here at the Atlanta Falcons. And the last couple weeks here, the Panthers have been serviceable in fantasy football. Week 6 at the Rams, 24 points allowed, a sack, in throwing a pick 6. And Week 7 versus Tampa Bay, like I said, 3 points allowed and a sack. So right here, Marcus Mariota not really getting the job done for his team. He's a quarterback that's going to have trouble, I think. He just don't throw the football enough. And he's got good weapons in Drake London and Kyle Pitts as the headliner. But right here, he looks to run a lot as Mariota. They run the football a lot to Tyler Algier and Caleb Huntley. But I think this Panther team, if they could go in there with the same mindset and confidence like they had versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think they could be a decent fantasy option as a sleeper this week here. And they're available in 95% of fantasy leagues. That's a few defense DST units I have as sleepers here for Week 8 of the fantasy football season.